Imagine this, it's late 2014. Deep in the rolling hills of Elbert County, Georgia, stands a monument already wrapped in layers of secrets, the enigmatic Georgia Guidestones. Then one day something utterly unexpected appears. A small, precisely cut granite cube, nestled perfectly into a pre-existing empty notch on the English-language slab of the monument. No one saw it coming. No one officially claimed responsibility for putting it there, or for what purpose it served. This wasn't just some random act of graffiti or casual vandalism, oh no, this felt different, more calculated, more intentional. This tiny block of stone, appearing as if by magic, instantly sent ripples of excitement and confusion through communities fascinated by the unexplained, igniting a fresh wave of burning questions around an already baffling American landmark. What on earth was its purpose, and who was behind its sudden arrival? Now, for those of you who haven't heard of them, the Georgia Guidestones were a truly peculiar structure. Often dubbed America's Stonehenge, these massive granite monoliths were erected in 1980 under a cloak of near-total secrecy. A man calling himself R.C. Christian, a pseudonym, commissioned their construction on behalf of a small group of loyal Americans. Inscribed on the stones, in 8 different modern languages, were 10 controversial guides or principles for an age of reason. These guidelines touched on topics like population control, world government, and humanity's relationship with nature, making them a lightning rod for debate and conspiracy theories from the very day they were unveiled. Their astronomical alignments only added to their mystique, hinting at a deeper, perhaps hidden knowledge. The cube itself was a fascinating little object. It was small, no bigger than a shoebox, and crafted from the same type of pyramid blue granite as the main Guidestone structure. This detail was significant. It suggested that whoever placed it either had access to the original quarry, or went to great lengths to match the material perfectly. It wasn't just placed on the monument, it was carefully inserted into a distinct L-shaped cutout that had been empty for years, a notch whose original purpose, if any, was also part of the Guidestones lore. This precision fit implied that the cube's addition was not a haphazard afterthought, but a deliberate, well-planned action, almost like a missing puzzle piece finally being put into its designated place. And then there were the inscriptions. Carved into the faces of this granite cube were a series of numbers and letters. Media Group. Rotating shot of cube showing engraved numbers and letters, hand tracing symbols on stone at its stock at it distribute _ equally, 20 and 14 on opposite sides, 8 and 16 on 2 other faces, and the letters MM on one remaining vertical face, with JAM inscribed on the top surface. Simple, minimalist, and utterly baffling. What could these cryptic characters possibly signify? Were they coordinates to a hidden location, significant dates in some secret timeline, the initials of the creator, or perhaps a clandestine organization? The internet, as you can imagine, lit up like a Christmas tree with speculation. Everyone, from amateur sleuths to seasoned Forteans, had a theory. The stark simplicity of the inscriptions only managed to fuel the complexity of the interpretations, drawing people deeper into the Guidestones' already compelling mystery. The sheer audacity of the cube's appearance was stunning. Think about it. The Georgia Guidestones, while publicly accessible, were situated in a fairly remote, open field. To place this cube, especially with such precision, would have required planning, effort, and a degree of stealth. It wasn't like someone could just casually toss it up there during a lunch break. This act suggested a clandestine operation, perhaps carried out under the cover of darkness. Who would dare to alter this already controversial and closely watched monument? And why do it so secretly, leaving no immediate claim or explanation? The act itself was a bold statement, a mystery wrapped in an enigma, challenging onlookers to decipher its meaning. Let's look closer at those inscriptions because they are the key, if we can only find the right lock. On opposite faces, the numbers 20 and 14 were clearly visible. Then, on 2 other opposing faces, the numbers 8 and 16. Finally, the letters MM were etched onto one of the remaining vertical sides, and the letters JAM were on the top face of the cube. The arrangement seemed deliberate, almost like a coded message. The numbers 20 and 14 almost screamed the year of its appearance, 2014, but what about 8 and 16? Could they signify August 16th? Or perhaps they were part of a more complex cipher. The letters MM and JAM were even more tantalizingly obscure. prompting a whirlwind of guesswork about names, organizations, or hidden mottos. The immediate public reaction was a fascinating mix of excitement, trepidation, and intense curiosity. The Georgia Guidestones already attracted a dedicated following of researchers, conspiracy theorists, and the generally curious. This new cube? It was like pouring gasoline on an already roaring fire of speculation. Some people saw it as an ominous sign, perhaps a countdown to a significant event foretold by the Guidestones' cryptic messages. Others believed it could be a new message from the mysterious R.C. Christian, or the group he represented, a further clarification or a new directive. Local residents were abuzz, and online forums dedicated to mysteries and unexplained phenomena exploded with discussions, theories, and counter-theories. What made the cube's placement even more intriguing was that pre-existing notch. For years, a section had been visibly removed from the top corner of the English-language slab, creating a perfect L-shaped indentation. The 2014 cube fit into this space with remarkable precision, as if it were custom-made for it. This led many to believe that the cube's placement was not only intentional, but perhaps even foreseen or planned by those who understood the monument's original design. Could it be that the original creators always intended for something to be placed there at a later date? Was this the fulfillment of some hidden aspect of the Guidestones' grand, mysterious plan? The perfect fit was too compelling to dismiss as mere coincidence for many observers. The theories about the cube's meaning came thick and fast. The numbers 8, 16, 20, and 14 were prime candidates for date speculation. Many quickly pointed to August 16, 2014, which had already passed by the time the cube gained widespread attention in September. Others wondered if it pointed to something in 2016, perhaps involving the number 8, or if it was a combination referring to multiple dates or a sequence of events. What was supposed to happen on these dates? Some feared apocalyptic events, tying it back to the Guidestones' more controversial pronouncements about population reduction. Others hoped for a revelation, a key to understanding the monument's true purpose. The numbers became a sort of cryptographic playground for anyone with an interest in the mystery. The letters MM and JAM were equally fertile ground for speculation. MM could stand for so many things. Some suggested Master Mason, given the Masonic symbolism often anachronistically associated with mysterious structures. Others wondered if it could be Roman numerals for 2000, though that didn't quite align neatly with the other numbers. Could it be the initials of the person or persons who placed the cube? JAM was just as enigmatic. Was it an acronym? Just a memento, perhaps? Or more initials, pointing to a family or a small group? The possibilities seemed endless, and without any clear context, every theory, no matter how wild, had its moment in the sun. The ambiguity was part of the cube's strange allure. Then came a twist that no one quite expected. The caretaker of the Georgia Guidestones, a local granite worker named Mart Clamp, whose family firm had actually engraved the original monument, took action. Citing concerns about safety and the potential for crowds to damage the main structure while trying to get a closer look at the cube, Clamp announced he had removed it. Not only that, he subsequently stated that the cube had been destroyed, smashed into pieces. This act itself became another layer of the mystery. Why destroy it so quickly? Why not allow it to be studied by experts or at least preserved? Some immediately cried cover-up, suggesting that Clamp was acting under orders to remove inconvenient evidence or silence a message someone powerful didn't want public. Just when things couldn't get weirder, a man named Michael Massinelli, also known as Michael Hunt Sneed, stepped forward. He released a video and claimed that he was the one who had created and placed the cube on the Guidestones. He explained that the inscription MM stood for his initials, Michael Massinelli, and JAM signified Jesus and me. He even provided some footage purportedly showing him working on a similar granite cube. However, his confession was met with widespread skepticism. Many found his explanation too simplistic, too convenient for such an intriguing object. Doubts arose about his ability to place the cube so perfectly without assistance and undetected. Was he telling the truth, seeking his 15 minutes of fame, or was he an opportunist, or even a disinformation agent? The differing opinions about the cube's true meaning were vast and varied, reflecting the polarized views already surrounding the Guidestones themselves. On one end of the spectrum, there were those who leaned into apocalyptic interpretations. They saw the cube as a dire warning, a sign, or a trigger connected to the Guidestones' more ominous messages about global depopulation or a coming societal collapse. For them, it was another piece of a dark unfolding prophecy. On the other hand, some viewed it as a clever piece of contemporary art, an anonymous installation designed to provoke thought, generate discussion, and interact with the existing mystique of the monument. And of course, many simply dismissed it as a well-executed hoax, a prank specifically designed to stir up the conspiracy-minded and mystery communities. The skepticism surrounding Michael Massanelli's confession never really faded for many. His story, while providing seemingly straightforward answers to the initials, felt a little too neat, a bit too mundane for an event that had captured so many imaginations. Critics pointed to perceived inconsistencies in his account, or questioned the authenticity of his video evidence. Was he truly a lone craftsman with a message, or was he perhaps a frontman for a different group or individual who wished to remain anonymous? Or was he, as some suspected, simply an opportunist trying to insert himself into a compelling, unfolding narrative? The lack of irrefutable proof either way meant that his confession, for many, simply became another contested piece of the puzzle rather than its solution. The ultimate fate of the cube, its swift removal and reported destruction, means that we will likely never have definitive, verifiable answers. It has become like a lost artifact, its brief, tangible existence now relegated to photographs, eyewitness accounts, and fervent online discussions. Its appearance added another rich, albeit short, chapter to the Georgia Guidestones' already bizarre and controversial history. The fact that the main Guidestones monument itself was severely damaged by an explosion and subsequently demolished entirely in July 2022 only adds another layer of finality and intrigue to any event connected to it. The cube became a curious footnote, but one that continues to pique interest precisely because it remains unresolved, a tiny enigma within a much larger one. And isn't that why we love these kinds of mysteries? Humans seem to be hardwired to be drawn to the unexplained, the tantalizing puzzle that hints at something more beneath the surface. Enigmas like the 2014 Georgia Guidestones cube capture our collective imagination. They allow us to become amateur detectives, armchair historians, and speculative thinkers. It's the thrill of the unknown, the faint glimmer of a hidden truth that might just be waiting to be uncovered. These stories are more than just collections of facts. They are adventures for the mind, invitations to explore the fringes of our understanding. And sometimes, as frustrating as it can be, the not knowing, the enduring mystery itself, is far more exciting and engaging than any mundane answer could ever hope to be.